is Holly with Creme Cupcake, and today we are decorating gingerbread cookies. Now, if you buy the kit, you should have 4 baked gingerbread cookies and 4 bags of royal icing and some sprinkles. In addition to that, you will need a pair of scissors and a few toothpicks, and I would suggest some paper towels for sticky finger purposes. This video is pre-recorded, so pause at any time that you need to if I'm going too fast or if you just need to take a break or life happens. So feel free to pause at any point. We're going to start off with a snowflake one and the blue icing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline it first, and then what I'm going to do is called flood it, which is basically fill in with the frosting. And then we're going to set this one aside to kind of firm up a little bit, and we're going to move on to the other cookies. Start off with the blue royal icing. You will need to cut a tip. You want a pretty small tip in these. And here I'll show you how thin we're thinking here. Oops, sorry, it's clogged a bit. So just something thin like that. And that's the size you kind of want for all of the bags. So, snowflake cookie, we're going to start off with a blue bag. If you've got it cut, then we can go ahead and start outlining. You're going to have in your main hand, you're going to want steady pressure from your hand, and then your other hand kind of helps guide it. So you just squeeze, and you're going to touch it down to the top of the cookie, and then just follow the outline. Steady pressure, go slow, and then if you do need to stop with your line, just touch it down again, and then pick up where you left off. Just following the outline. There's no rush to this. And if you can do it all in one go, then you get a gold star for the day. Steady pressure from the back of my hand. I'm guiding with my other hand. And then we're coming to the end, and we're just going to touch it down like that. So we have a nice little outline. And now with the same bag, we're just going to fill in or flood it. And I just apply more pressure. I'm squeezing harder so more frosting comes up. And you can stay pretty close to the outline. You don't have to get right up to the edge if you don't want to, because then we're going to kind of fill in. Just keep going round and round until the whole cookie is covered. Feel like I'm coloring in here. Okay. And then we're going to take a toothpick and just kind of swirl the icing around so we meet up with those borders, the outline that you made earlier, and kind of smooth things out a little bit. Now, if your icing seems to be a little bit thinner, this will go a lot faster. And don't worry about that. It all dries. It all looks nice in the end. Okie dokie. So that is filled. I'm just going to smooth things out here. And then we're going to set it aside, and it's going to kind of firm up. And this will allow us to add a detail in later without it sinking into the blue icing. So just set that one aside. Set your blue aside. And then we're going to go for the star. It's this one. Star, we're going to do white icing, and we are also going to use the red and green icing. So if you haven't cut those open yet, go ahead and do that now. And again, you just want to be able to thin line. You don't want to go too nuts on cutting these open. Thin line for all of them. Oops, we got green on that one. Like that. That's what we're going for here. So, start with the white, and we're going to do just like we do with the snowflake. We're going to outline and then fill in all with the whites. So steady pressure from behind and guide with your other hand. You touch it down and lift up, and then just follow the outline. And then if you need to stop, you just touch it down at one point and then pick it back up right where you left off. Like that. Same bag, I'm going to fill in, just add more pressure, following the outline you just made. Just like that. And then we're going to take your toothpick again, clean one or just wipe off the ends, and then fill in to make sure we're hitting where those outlines were. Just kind of moving the frosting around. All right, and now got that filled in. While the frosting is still wet, we're gonna make some stripes with the red and white, or red and green, sorry. So start off with the green, and we're just gonna do some horizontal stripes across the top of the white. They don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be straight. Just go across. Oops. And then we're going to do the same thing with the red in between where the green stripes are. We're going to do red. Just like that. Whoops. Okay. And then we're going to come with a toothpick. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag the toothpick through all the lines, and it kind of creates a feather effect. So we're going to start at the top here. Drag that down. And then you want to wipe off the toothpick after each one. And then I'm going to go, if I went down on the first one, we're going to go up on the second one. And it kind of creates this cool feathered effect. And try not to go too deep into the frosting, just hitting the top edge. Last one. There we go. There we have very festive star. And if you want to put some sprinkles, maybe on the points, that would be fun too. So for the next cookie, we're going to do the Christmas tree. And for this one, I do recommend that you have a paper towel or a plate underneath, because we're going to get a bit wild with the frosting here. We're going to start with the green, and then just like the other ones, we're going to outline it and flood it. And then we're going to top it with some white squiggles. And then we're going to marble everything so it kind of looks like a snow-kissed Christmas tree. So go with your green. Just like before, you're going to touch it down and outline it, following the outline of the cookie. Just like that. And then flood it, same bag, just adding more pressure, following your outline. Just fill it in. Okay. And then, just like before, you come in with your toothpick and fill in those gaps. Work that frosting around until it comes out to the edge of your outline. Fill it in. And then Once that's done, we're going to come in with the white. And what I'm going to do is I'm starting kind of high off the cookie and I'm doing like a little circle motion around. So it drops on the cookie kind of in a random squiggle mode. Doesn't have to be neat. Certainly does not have to be perfect. You don't want it to be perfect. And then you're going to come in with your toothpick and repeat the circle motion. So you're just swirling the white and the green together. And it creates this kind of cool marble effect. Maybe change directions every once in a while. Just like that. So it looks like, you're wandering through the woods, come across this snow-capped Christmas tree, Griswold family Christmas tree. And then for some extra decoration, that's where the sprinkles are going to come in play. We got sprinkles here, some red, white, gold, Christmas lights or ornaments or both. There we go. And that is your Christmas tree. Just like that. Okay, so next up, we're going to do the iconic Ginger Boy. Now, this guy, I'm sure you know, has very minimal decoration. He's just kind of white icing on some details, which is exactly what we're going to do. So take your white. We're going to just do basic stuff. There's no outlining. There's no flood. We're just going to start off with an eyes, and smile. There we go. And then if something's not quite looking right to you, you can always come in with your toothpick and maybe make the eyes a little bit bigger or smooth out the smile a little bit. And then, they always have cuffs around. Because it's the holidays, he's going to be fancy. So we're going to do a bit of a ruffle cup here. Cuff, not cup. So maybe a couple rows of that. And I'm just kind of making a little loop motion with my hand here with the white icing. It's fancy. He's got his fancy clothes on. And then same again on the legs. Just like that. And then some buttons. Okay. Now, if you wanted to top off with some candy buttons, you certainly can. Or if you want to add sprinkles, I'm just going to leave him plain white. This is the iconic gingerbread look. So we're just going to leave him plain white like that. If you want to embellish, you certainly can. So there's our ginger boy. And now we're going to go back to our snowflake, which is what one we filled up with the blue earlier. Now we're going to come back with the white icing and add snowflake detail. So take this guy, take your white bag, and we're going to go point to point, crossways. So we start on one point, and we come across the center to the other point. And then it's kind of like making an arrow. You just kind of do these lines coming off, like so. Just going to connect that line up again. Oh. Turn this guy. More lines. And something like this, these lines, you just want a gentle squeeze. And then we do the next one. Whoops, come on. There we go. Crossing the center, touching down at the end. Now, for this one, if we did this way for the first one, we're going to do that way for the next one. So it kind of gives a little bit more interesting effect on these tailies. Someone knows what this is called on an arrow. A flag? I don't know. It is what it is. like that. And then we do our last one, crossing in the center again to the end. And then like that. I remember what I'm doing here. This way. There's that. And then in the center, we're going to do a swirl. And remember, snowflakes, they're all different. So whatever yours looks like is what that snowflake is supposed to look like. So we're going to do that. Come back in there. And that is the snowflake cookie. And those are your 4 holiday gingerbread cookies. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Feel free to go nuts on the decorations as you like. It's the holidays, everything works for Christmas cookies. Thank you.